Happy Friday and welcome back to Drinking by My Shelf. Today I'm going to be doing the second instalment of Balancing the Books, which is something that I started back in April and then kind of forgot to keep track of. But now that book jail is officially over, I need to reintroduce this new way of keeping my TBR pile down. I'll link to the last Balancing the Books video that I did so you can watch that if you missed it. But basically I decided that to keep my TBR pile a little bit under control, I would make sure that the number of books that came into my TBR pile, whether I bought them or whether they were books from publishers, was the same as the number of books that went off my TBR pile by me reading them or DNFing them or just deciding not to read them for whatever reason. I did it for the first 4 months of the year and now it's been another whole 4 months, so I'm now going to go through the last 4 months and make sure that they're all balanced. But this time I'm going to make it even harder for myself. I'm going to say that not only do they have to be equal, but in fact the number of books going off my TBR has to be one higher. So every month the number of books on my TBR pile should shrink by one. Let's make this happen. I already actually did a video for my May book haul, so I'm not going to go through all the books I bought in May again, but I will link to my May book haul so you can see what those books were. The short answer is that I got 13 new books in May. And according to my handy little journal here, I read 8 books in May and DNF'd 1, which was The Fingerprints of Previous Owners, which means that to get to the final score of -1, I'm going to have to get rid of another 5 books. This is already going to be really hard. What am I going to get rid of? Okay, I've been rummaging through my TBR pile and it's okay, I've come up with 5 books that I'm not too sad about parting with. The first one is Losing It by Keith Gray. This does look really interesting. I originally bought it for my dissertation. I thought that I might include it. I ended up not including it and I haven't read it yet. It's a collection of short stories about the different ways that all the authors lost their virginity and their own definitions of what that is. And that actually sounds really interesting. I'm now changing my mind. I do still really want to read this. Okay, let's see if I can keep it. I can get rid of Sophie Hannah's Woman with a Secret. Sophie Hannah's books I have a mixed relationship with. I always really love them while I'm reading them because she's really good at building suspense, but then without fail I get to the end and I'm disappointed because I think the ending was bad, and that does kind of ruin the whole book for me. I'm sure I would have a reasonably fun time reading this book, but I'm going to take it off the TBR pile. Everything, by the way, that I take off the TBR pile I'm going to give to charity. Okay, the next one I've picked up is The Sellout by Paul Beatty. This is one that I probably should read because it won so many awards, but I've had it sitting around for ages and I just keep not being tempted to pick it up. And I think, to be honest, I'm probably never going to pick it up. So I might as well give this one to a charity shop and someone else can enjoy it. Book number 3 I'm going to get rid of is a Kindle book. The ones I'm getting rid of on my Kindle I was a bit unsure about because obviously it's not like I can give it to charity. All I'm doing is deleting it from my Kindle. Do I really need to do that? But I think having all that clutter on my Kindle of books I have to read does kind of stress me out. So this is the more selfish one. It's not going anywhere, but I am going to delete a few from my Kindle. So book number 3 I'm getting rid of is Anna of California. Again, I'm sure it sounds like a really nice book. It's a retelling of Anne of Green Gables, but I've had it for 2 years now. I haven't read it. It's got to go. The 4th one I'm going to get rid of is The Heart Goes Last by Margaret Atwood. This one I've heard pretty mixed things about, and I actually haven't read any Margaret Atwood yet, but I've got The Handmaid's Tale ready to read, so I think I'm going to start with that one. I can always buy it back if I end up loving Margaret Atwood and really want to read it later. That seems like a very expensive way of doing things, getting rid of books just to buy them back later, but the truth is I probably won't buy it back later, so this seems like the right thing to do. So now for a 5th book to get rid of because I don't want to get rid of Losing It. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I found one. I've got this book called The Woman Who Went to Bed for a Year. I don't really know anything about it. I think I actually just stole it from my mum's bookshelf because I liked the title, but she said that she didn't love it, so I don't need this one. So, at last, for May, books officially balanced. Okay, now moving on to June and July. I'm doing these ones combined because I didn't really keep track of my book hauls for them separately. I just did it all in one over the summer. So that means I have to finish off with a final score of -2 for this one because there's 2 months. So I'll start with telling you what I bought, and there's 3 at the beginning that don't count against me because these are books that I bought even though I've already read them. I just wanted to own them, so they didn't add to my TBR. I bought Adventures of the Little Wooden Horse. This was one of my favourite childhood books. My dad used to read it to me and I just decided I wanted to own my own copy, so I bought that. I bought Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, even though I thought it was really bad, but I just wanted it for my collection. That's shameful to admit, isn't it? And then I bought We Were Feminists Once, which I read last year, but somehow it didn't make it out of storage. It's still stuck in one of the boxes, but I do have that one. So those are the 3 that don't count. Now moving on to the ones that actually count as books coming into my TBR. I bought Animal Liberation by Peter Singer. This is to inspire me to go vegan. I bought In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. This was for the Young Publishers Society book club. They were reading that one. It's a true crime novel and I really enjoyed it. It was really creepy. I bought Juniper Lemon's Happiness Index for the Booktubeathon. This is just a quite fun YA. I thought it was only okay. I've already kind of forgotten it, so a little bit forgettable. I bought The Seafarer's Kiss for the Biennial Bibliothon, which again I thought was only meh. I kind of skim read it. Not really interested in fantasy worlds, so it's not the fault of the book, it's just not really for me. I bought The Apartment by S.L. Gray, which is a kind of horror thriller hybrid, and I found it absolutely fucking terrifying. I bought The Girlfriend by Michelle Francis. That was a thriller about the rivalry between the girlfriend and mother of this man, and I thought it was really good fun. I bought Little Deaths by Emma Flint, which is about a woman accused of the murders of her own children, and it's set in New York in the 60s, and it's all about the sexism this woman faces, and I thought it was great. It made me really angry, but in such a good way. And then finally I bought, it was free on Kindle, a book called No Exit, which is a thriller. I haven't read it yet. It starts with a woman trapped at a service station during a storm, and she realises that one of the people she's trapped there with is kidnapping a child, and she has no phone service to call the police, so she has to figure out what to do. It sounded pretty gripping. A book that I got given as a present is Saving Francesca by Melina Marchetta. This is a YA novel about a girl starting a new school and her mother suffering from depression, and I thought it was really lovely. It had these really lovely depictions of all her friendships, and just made me really happy. And then there's the books that I got from publishers. I got The Vanishing of Audrey Wilde by Eve Chase. I read that one on holiday. It was really nice. It's this gentle mystery set between present day and the past at this house, and a girl who went missing years before and how that's still affecting people today. It's a really nice summer read, that one. I got Stalker by Lars Kepler, which I haven't read yet, but it looks so scary. I can't remember what the synopsis said that was so scary, but it was something about how at night, when you have your lights on, people can see you through your window, and that just really gave me the creeps. So I'm not sure when I'm going to be brave enough for that one, but it looks pretty good. I got The Roanoke Girls, which is one of the most dark, twisted novels I've ever read. I'm going to do full reviews of all the books I read over the summer soon, so watch out for those ones. I got My Absolute Darling, which, spoiler alert, I'm not sure if I'm going to read. I might get rid of it if I need to, because it sounds pretty gruesome. I'm not sure if I can handle it. It's about child abuse, and it's supposed to be really good. I've heard good things, so we'll see. I got Yesterday, which I already started reading and DNF'd. It was about people, half of the population can only remember what happened to them yesterday, no further back than that, and the other half of the population can remember 2 days past, but no further back than that. And there's a crime being solved where people can only remember a few days at a time. Kind of a cool concept, so I guess it has been done quite a lot before, and I started reading it and was like, nah, so DNF's that one. I got Midnight at the Bright Ideas Bookstore, which, such a cool title, was a bit of a letdown for me. Again, I'll review it soon in a video coming up. I got Every Last Lie by Mary Kubica, which was a meh thriller for me. Quite a few meh ones on this list so far. I got The Scandal by Fredrik Backman, which I ended up buying in the US where it's called Beartown. I think that's actually a way better title. This one I absolutely loved, and I'm going to be raving about it in a video soon. It's about a small hockey town in Sweden, and it's about sports and toxic masculinity and rape culture, and it's really, really powerful, so more to come on this one. I got Emma in the Night by Wendy Walker. She wrote a book called All Is Not Forgotten, which I thought was really fantastic and really, really creepy. This one was not quite as good. It's a thriller about two sisters who go missing, and then one of them comes back, and she has to solve the mystery of what happened to the other one. I got Hum If You Don't Know the Words. Really gorgeous cover, this one. I don't really know what it's about other than it's set during the apartheid in Johannesburg. I got The People We Hate at the Wedding, which again, I don't really know what it's about other than it's about weddings and relationships and families. Could be pretty funny. I got To Be Where You Are. I know nothing about this one. It just kind of arrived unsolicited. It's part of a series called the Mitford series, which I'd never heard of, so probably not going to read this one, another spoiler for you, but it is a very pretty cover. And then finally I got Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart. I went to the launch party of this to get this book. It was a really fun evening. Really loved hearing Emily Lockhart talk. She's really, really interesting. Unfortunately, I didn't fall in love with this book, not to the same extent that I fell in love with We Were Liars, and I'll talk more about it in that review video coming up soon, but it was a really fun evening, so I'm pleased with this book. I'm going to hold on to it. I got it signed by her, so that was really nice. And I also got another copy of We Were Liars signed by her, so it was a very fun night. So, if I don't include the 3 books that I had already read before I bought them, that is 22 new books onto my TBR during June and July. I read 16 books during June and July, though one of them doesn't count. It was a reread of Harry Potter, so that didn't help take anything off my TBR. So, 15 books that I read, plus I DNF'd 3 books. So that means that to get to my final score of -2, I need to lose another 6 books. And I was already stuck anyway. Okay, well I'll start with the easy bit, which is I'll get rid of these 3 books I got this month. Harm Me If You Don't Know the Words, The People We Hate at the Wedding, and To Be Where You Are, because I just don't really know enough about them. It's a shame though, because they're so pretty. I want to keep them because they all just like look really nice on my bookshelf, but they'll look really nice on Oxfam bookshelf too. I will get rid of My Absolute Darling because I think I'm a bit too scared to read that one anyway. Seems like it's going to be pretty gory. I guess I will get rid of the free book that I got, No Exit. And then, let's have a look through my Kindle. Okay, I've got this book on my Kindle called Everything You Do Is Wrong, but on Goodreads it doesn't have particularly good ratings, so I think I'll skip that. So now I'm down to -2. The books of June and July are back. And we're on to the final month. Now let's just go through the books that came in and out in August. Now the super impressive part about August is that I bought 0 new books. None at all. I'm so pleased with myself for that. I was given some books by my mother-in-law, and those were Tuesdays with Morrie. I've wanted to read this one for years. I love The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, so I'm really excited for this. The Space Between Us by Thrity Umrigar, which I've already read and I absolutely loved it. If June and July were the months of meh books, August was the month of 5-star reads. I read so many that I loved. This one was absolutely beautiful. She gave me The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri, another 5-star read. I just thought it was so beautifully written. It's this kind of funny book where like not much really happens, but you just so love the characters. I was gripped the whole time, even though all you're really doing is like watching this guy grow up. And then she gave me 2 books that I don't really know that much about, which are The History of Love by Nicole Krauss and Blue Water by A. Manette Ansay. Don't know much about these, so let me know if you've read either of them. And then the books from publishers, I got 7 Days of Us. This one is set at Christmas. I love Christmas. It's about a family reuniting in time for the holidays. I got a book with such a great title, which is Erotic Stories for Punjabi Widows. I think that one's about a book club. I got Anything You Do Say, which is the next book by Gillian McAllister. She wrote Everything But the Truth, which I really enjoyed, so I'm excited to read her next book. I got Good Me, Bad Me, which is about a girl whose mother is a serial killer. I got this gorgeous looking book, Everything Here Is Beautiful by Mira T. Lee, which is about the relationship between 2 sisters. Books about sisters always capture my heart. It's also about mental illness. It sounds like it's going to be very moving. I got this hefty little script here, Look for Her by Emily Winslow. I didn't know they were going to send it to me in such a kind of early form. Don't think I can quite fit it in my handbag to read on the tube. Emily Winslow is the author who wrote Jane Doe January, which I read last year. That was her non-fiction book telling her own story of the court case following her rape, and it was very powerful. I was really moved by it. This is now her fiction thriller. And then finally I got this book, If I Die Before I Wake. The question on the front is, how do you solve your own murder? And it's about a man who is in a coma, unlikely to ever wake up, but he can hear what's going on around him, and he suspects that the accident that put him in a coma wasn't actually an accident. It looks gorgeous. I haven't unwrapped it yet, but I love the presentation. It's got yellow pages. I am loving this new trend of having colourful pages. Just think it's amazing. So that is 12 new books in the month of August, and I read 13 books. Ta-da! I already did it. I don't have to get rid of any. I also DNF'd 3 books, so that's actually 16 books off my TBR and 12 in. I'm doing so well! In the past, I had said that I could get bonus points to carry forward whenever I took more books off my TBR than I needed to. But I've now decided I'm just going to be way harsher and stricter. I'm not going to get any bonus points for that, which I will probably regret in the months to come, but for now it means I've just made like a massive dent in my TBR. On the 1st of January at the beginning of this year, I had 73 books on my TBR, which I know isn't as big as some people's. I just really want mine to be smaller than that. And that number has now gone down to 66 books balanced. Thanks so much guys for watching my balancing the books, and I'm now going to try and keep up with it so that I don't have to do 4 months in one go, because it's kind of exhausting for all of us. Do give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and leave me a comment below letting me know how many books are on your TBR. And of course, hit that subscribe button for new videos every Friday. See you next time!